Up next on the MARR Army Rock Show, we've got John Weed from Baltimore band The OddEven. They've got a new record out called Space Juice. John, welcome to the show.
Hey, Rocky, what's happening, bud? Good to be here.
Yeah, good to talk to you, man. And, it's I know we've seen you guys before. It's been a little bit, so it's great to have you on the show. So we know who you are, but some of our listeners may be a little bit new to your band. So why don't you let us know how the OddEven came together and formed?
Sure. Well, obviously, we got strange times here, so I completely understand with the being out of the spotlight here for a minute, right? But yeah. I think everybody is. Actually, E.T., my guitar player, and I, we were in Tube Freaks you had on your show a couple years ago.
Yep.
And when the band changed direction a little bit, we decided to do something different, and we formed the OddEven back. I guess it's been about a year now, so that was in July of 2019. And then, we started writing and recording, getting guys together, and, the rest, they say, is history.
So the record Space Juice is out right now. Tell us a little bit more about the recording of the album, kind of how long it took, and who produced and where you recorded and all that stuff.
Well, it was interesting. I mean, we, as I said, we got together, Todd and I, changed direction, and we tried to find the right guys. And we went through 6 drummers.
Wow.
In a period of roughly about 2 months. And it was kind of crazy. It was one of those things where, we had some, connections in the industry and stuff. And so we booked a bunch of shows, on the road. We had a show with Pastor Pussycat and Bang Tango, one with Nonpoint. We played with the guys in Last in Line, who were all the, surviving Dio members. Oh, yeah. And then Soulfly. And so we were out doing these shows and, trying to get everything put together. And it was crazy. Like I said, we had the changes with the drummers and all this stuff. When we finally got everything solidified, we went in. I guess when we finally got in there, it was probably January of this year. And we did a 4-song. Frank Marchand did it at Waterford Digital. If you know Frank, he's a badass in the scene. So we love working with Frank. And we wrapped it up and put it out on 4/20 of this year, which, we thought would be really cool and wonderful. Who knew that COVID-19 would hit and make putting out a record in April not so great?
Well, you're not alone. A lot of bands are sailing in that same ship right now. But, hey, let's talk a little bit about a couple of the tunes. So first up, man, The Fire in the Sky. Now, that one's got a cool music video. Tell us about the making of that video.
Again, a little bit challenging with the state of the world right now, but basically we just had an idea. We said, hey, look, Fire in the Sky. It's all about kind of standing up and taking things back over in your life and blah blah blah. And so we were like, hey, let's make this as cool as possible with what we can do with the resources we have. We'd originally planned on doing this like either in some type of a live setting in part, or in some type of warehouse and all this, but, really there wasn't any availability for that. I mean, we couldn't do it. So, we really just kind of took it to a setting where we said, hey, let's get some people together and build a fire and film this thing and have some fun doing it. And, we think it turned out great, so.
Yeah, great job on the video, man. It's a cool tune. I think it's actually my favorite tune on the EP as well, in addition to that. So, hey, the next tune that comes up on the record is Bleed for Something. And I noticed it's got some nifty guitar work in that tune. What's that song about?
The whole record kind of has a theme. It's really about, standing up for yourself and putting in the time to make things right and not letting the world beat you down, sort of thing. That song was actually an idea that I had. I guess it was probably about a year before we ended up recording it, and I just had like kind of a slinky, guitar bass line with it, and it really came together when Rob Wise, we got him on board as our vocalist. We started generating some really cool ideas and kind of getting into that whole, I guess it's sort of the 90s feel. A lot of people sort of labeled that.
Yeah.
Very kind of Alice in Chains, Stone Temple Pilots sort of Soundgarden thing. And so it really made everything come together for us in the Five Direction.
You know, I'm going to jump ahead in my questions because it's kind of funny. I literally wrote down, for the listener, somebody has to wonder if you're inspired by Alice in Changer Soundgarden. And so I wrote those two bands down. So I'm just curious, you know, was that inspired by the musical roots of the band members? I mean, is that where you guys kind of, you know, cut your teeth? Was that 90s vibe, or do you come from a different place, musically speaking?
You know, this is going to take you throw you for a loop. It's crazy. So E.T. and I, he was playing reggae, and I was playing in a funk rock band before we joined Tube Freaks. Like, we totally left kind of the rock thing for a little bit, and it was interesting when, you know, we started playing Tube Freaks. Obviously, you know, it was a little bit harder and heavier, and so we kind of liked that where we were going with that, but we wanted to, you know, change it up a little bit because, you know, we wrote a little bit differently. And so, you know, a lot of those influences come out, you know. I mean, some of that stuff that we came up on, you know, Stone Temple Pilots, Alice in Chains, those type of feels. And then, you know, all the way through the 2000s, some of the bands we've had the opportunity to play with, you know, your Salivas, your Non-Points, Fuel, all that kind of stuff. So I think you throw that all into a blender with maybe some of the other experiences we had, and boom, there you go. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man, you've shared the stage with some great ones. And, man, just what a resume there. Fuel and Saliva, two of my very favorites. Love the Non-Point guys, too. So you're picking them well with who to play with, that's for sure. Hey, man, I love that album artwork on this thing. Tell me a little bit about the album cover.
Yeah, so it's kind of funny. The whole band name, you know, and the OddEven and the concept and everything, it actually started like kind of twofold. At one point, I went to Ancestry DNA. I was adopted, so I sort of wanted to figure out kind of where I was from. And I basically got rejected 3 times. Like, I don't know if they don't know if I was human or if DNA profile. I don't know what it was, but I'm like, I'm pretty sure I'm an alien. So we sort of went in that direction. And then, you know, E.T., being in the band, we're like, well, I mean, here we go with this whole alien concept. And we kind of thought, wouldn't it be funny if we had, you know, this alien crashing the spaceship because, you know, he just drinking too much space juice, and away we go. So Will Klein, I presented, you know, Will with sort of, you know, my sketch, my idea, and then, you know, he's obviously a fantastic artist. He took and ran with it.
So, you know, maybe the alien blood will make you resistant to COVID. I wondered how, you know, every band's got a story. How did COVID hit you guys? Were you ready to go on tour? Were you writing? Where were you in the process, and how's it affected you guys?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much similar to everybody. You know, I mean, we had this record coming out, so obviously we were planning on doing a show in Baltimore. You know, we canceled. I think there was 2 shows in Maryland. Strangely enough, we're a Maryland band that was formed about a year ago, and we have yet to play a date on home tour. We've not played in Maryland, which is absolutely insane. You know, we're supposed to be down in the Outer Banks, you know, 4th of July weekend. That's not happening. We were supposed to do a festival. That's been postponed to October. So, I mean, we've had so many dates that have changed. We still have stuff on the schedule for, you know, some other stuff that got postponed, like the Jersey Shore Festival got moved to September. We've got a date in Jacksonville and Fort Myers. We're doing a show with Slaughter and LA Guns down there, which got moved from May to September. I actually, just before you and I got on the call here, had a conversation with Heather at the Brass Mug. Looks like we're trying to tie in one of those dates there for a Tampa show. But, I mean, again, who knows how that's going to go? I mean, every report right now is saying that Florida's being hard to hit, you know, super hard right now. So
yeah.
Who knows? You know what I mean?
Yeah, and of course the festival circuit's off the table as well for the foreseeable future too. So we'll just have to weather it this way. I was looking at like some of your merch. You guys have some cool merch out there. I guess you haven't really had much chance to sell it at a show yet, right? Some of the cool new merch.
I mean, if I could just tell you, Rocky, it has been one of the craziest years. And by that, I don't just mean 2020. I mean, if we look back to when this band started, it was, you know, we kind of went, you know, we booked a bunch of shows. We were ready to gear up. We had like a bunch of drummer issues and, you know, and then it's like, you know, just different changes and stuff. And then you get to 2020 and we're like, okay, we've got everything in line and everything's moving forward. And then wham, the whole world stops. You know, it's like, who could have ever guessed that? You know, I mean, nobody could. So right now we're just trying to do the best we can, you know, with the hand we were dealt. We've we partnered up with Pavement Entertainment. Those guys are great.
Yeah,
they've been helping us with a lot of the marketing stuff, which is awesome. They're fully behind us, and those guys are true professionals. So we love working with them. I've been doing as much as I can on my own. And, just trying to pick up some stuff. We just got a new endorsement today from Clayton USA for guitar picks and sticks. So, just trying to make the best of the situation we got. You know what I mean?
So, I always like to give folks listening a little peek into your lives as people. What are you doing for hobbies these days if you can't be out playing music? Did you take up anything new or fix up the house? How you been killing time since you can't play gigs?
Well, I have done a lot of that, actually. It's funny you mentioned that. I've gone through a couple different architects. I'm building an addition on the house. But outside of that, my wife and I actually run a nonprofit called Kent Island Beach Cleanups. And, we basically, try to keep the Chesapeake Bay and surrounding areas clean.
Nice.
So, that's been filling our time a little bit, trying to, get out and do stuff. Of course, with the, Maryland kind of opening now, we've got an influx of people coming over to Kent Island where we live and stuff. And, you've got some leave behind, you got some wash up. So it's given us some time outside of just being out there to help clean and save the environment, as well as to also do some advocating socially, and then certainly at the government level as well. So that's been keeping us busy. That and obviously, got a lot of time to write songs. So I guess the one blessing about being in 2020 is that it's pretty easy to exchange information with the other guys in your band, even if they are on the other side of the water across the bay. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely, man. So, John Weed of Baltimore-based band the OddEven. The new record is called Space Juice. It's out there on their Bandcamp, a bunch of other sites. If you go out there and find them on Facebook or any of the social media, you can link to where you can pick up the new record. So, John, man, thanks so much for being here. I appreciate you taking the time.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, Rocky. Thanks for having us.